Hey y'all, welcome back to SRL Solutions, Self-Reliance Through Preparation. Today we're on the road learning about different types of animal traps. We're back here in Prairie County, Tennessee with Lloyd with Scavengers and Self Reliance. And what do you have? You have a few traps sitting out here.
We got a couple of different traps and baits sitting out here. We got the conibears, the tube traps, also known as the dog proofs, because they were made specifically to keep from catching dogs. Then we got a live trap sitting here, which is a great catch and release, or catch and hold for a couple of days until you need to eat them, because live food never spoils.
Well, and these are good for, even in everyday life.
Yeah.
I know I have an organic garden. I have lots of rabbits and squirrels and cats and small children. But no, this is, of course, non-lethal. So like you said,
yeah,
if you're going to be using it for food and, hits the fan situation that you need food, it stays alive until you're ready for it. And it also is a catch and release that,
Yeah, you end up with your neighbor's cat getting in your shop, and you put it in there, catch your neighbor's cat, take them back to your neighbor, throw them out. You catch squirrels in here, and you don't need to eat them for a couple of days because you're still good on food. And say it's not exactly the middle of winter and you don't want to worry about it going bad, put a little bowl of water and throw a couple of acorns in there every day, and they'll stay good for a while.
Well, show us how you set this up. I mean, it seems like it's pretty straightforward, but
now
every time I have to set mine up, I have to try to figure it out again.
This in here has been whooped a little bit because I ended up with a bunch of coyotes getting a hold of it when I had a squirrel in here, but I got a piece of string on here so I can carry skunks without getting my hands right down on top of them, getting critters playing with them. But you compress the spring here, but you can raise this up. There's this little thing here. It attaches to the back pan and this trigger up here, and you set it. You set it on a heavy trigger and you set it. You can cover leaves, stake it down if you got stuff that's going to roll it around. Put your bait in back, some bait up front, get them going in.
So you want to make sure your bait's in the back, so he actually has to walk across that then sets that trap off.
And then once you get it the way you want it, what you'll do is you'll take and you'll bring this back until it's not all the way through like that, because it's a really heavy trigger and it'll play around on it. You bring it back and push it to the center until it's barely hooked.
Okay, so you can make it nice and soft.
And the reason they can't push the door open is because once the trap goes off, this piece comes up here so it can't come out.
Okay. Well, what are these different types of? Now, these are lethal traps, correct?
These are a conibear. They were made because there was a group called Monsanto that decided that
Boom at Badman's Monsanto.
Anyway. They decided that the leg hole traps were inhumane. So then a man I forget what his first name was, but his last name was Conibear. He ended up inventing this trap. It was an instant kill trap, and basically anything that sticks its head in it dies very, very quickly because it breaks the neck.
Mom, I have to call you back.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, so these were actually made, I forget his first name, but his last name was Conibear, so he named it after him, his last name. And the way they work is they're an instant kill trap.
Can you show us how to set it up?
Yeah, I'll show you on this little one because it's easier. The bigger ones, you either need to take a rope and make a pulley system, or they sell a tool you can use. And the way you do it is you compress the spring, and then you open this up, and you see it opens in an X and closes in an X fashion. And these are really, really great. The 110 is probably my favorite trap overall because this will catch bass, catfish. Now, if you're going to go for really big fish, just because of the size of their head, you're going to want to set to the 220. But this will catch down to good sized perch.
So how this works then is you latch it with right there, and then when they go through, they push the little things across. Now, why do you have that red thing on there?
What this is it's a piece of a shotgun shell, because I might use peanut butter on here, and it's hard to make peanut butter stick to that. So what I did was I took and I cut the end off of a shotgun shell. I spread my wires out to their spear a little bit. You can pack this full of peanut butter or any kind of gooey something and slide it down on there, and then it's not going to come off. And that way they have to actually, instead of just looking there and playing with it, they have to either slide it off and they got peanut butter all up on it. It just makes it harder for them to get the peanut butter off, and it's easier to set the trap with baits.
Now with fishing, do you put any bait with fish, or do you just put it where they might swim through it?
Unless you're doing small creeks, which we don't have a lot of really good small creeks with big fish around here, but you can pack these with guts or peanut butter. Or I've seen people, which I've never tried this, but they'll twist these to where they crisscross, and they can slide worms and minnows up on there, and then they'll hold them together.
Okay. And then, so what would you catch with these two sizes?
Well, these little 110s, they will catch small coons and possums, but they're more meant for squirrels and rabbits. These are really good for catching coons and possums. These are more for coyotes and beaver. These are a 330. This is a 220. This is a 110. These are the main ones you're going to see in your everyday co-ops, feed stores, and hardware stores. And you can also buy these offline. You'll have to figure out different places to look and shop around if you're wanting them.
And make sure that you check your local municipalities and areas for your different hunting laws and trapping laws. So you use peanut butter sometimes. What else is in there?
I've got marshmallows here. They're in a mason jar.
Is that for you or the animals?
Yes. Coons and possums really, really love the sweet, sticky marshmallows, and they stick on traps great. And I've also got a can of Viennes here if I got unknown predatory animals. Like I got something that came through and it pooped, but it got rained on, and I really don't know what's there, but it's some kind of meaty animal. I'm going after something like that. This will catch skunks, possums, coons, anything that likes eating canned meat.
Well, and the other good thing about trapping is that instead of going out and hunting for these, squirrels or whatever, you're down.
Chilling by the
you
fire.
can't do anything else while you're hunting. You can actually be gardening or doing it else while you're actually going. And you said you've gotten some deer too while you've been out trapping too.
Yeah, I was out one year. I was hunting quite a bit that year, and just wasn't having no luck where I was sitting. But I was walking around setting traps. I was sitting in one of the little pocket of this big oak tree, and a deer just comes walking straight up towards me. I was setting it for a little squirrel or something. I guess he was smelling the corn. I was throwing back in there, and he came walking up to me, and I got that deer.
Did you throw the trap at him and hit him?
Not hardly, but almost. He was real close on that one.
But that's what's great about trapping is it's just multitasking while you're doing everything else.
Yeah. Something I really like about trapping and hunting together is I can set my traps, because I hunt on top of a ridge a lot of times, so it's got a good area up there. And I'll set traps down along the creek where I walk up, and I'll set traps going up the hill in different areas for small game. And then every morning when I go out, I can check my traps every morning, and then every evening when I'm walking back and forth from hunting. On these big ones, there's a little modification here because they have a lot of play in the trigger, so those are meant for big things, coyotes, beavers. So when you're trying to catch coons and possums in them, sometimes they'll wiggle around, get your bait off, and run off with it. So I've drilled a hole and stuck a small screw in there so I can tighten it down. It just gets rid of some of the play. Just a cool little tip.
Okay.
And the other thing is, if you're setting them on a log for a blind set for a squirrel to run through, you can get your two little reefing tacks, drive them in there, and then when you set the trap on there, you can twist it and it'll lock in. Because let's just say for a minute that this trap was set, I had two roofing tacks sticking up here, I could slide it in here and then twist, or stick them in like that and then turn it, and it would hold the trap against the log so that the squirrels can run through and hit it and it won't fall off until the trap goes off and then it'll fall.
And how does this, you talked about this not allowing for dogs. How does this work?
I like these. I actually originally got into this kind of trap because I had coons coming in, they were getting into my little chickens, and I had the dogs running around all day, so they wouldn't go in a box trap, and I didn't want to set some out that could hurt them. So the way this works is there's a thing in here that comes down and it holds the foot. And this is not that painful. Once it goes off, it's just going to sit there and hold them. They're going to be PO because they can't go nowhere, but it's not going to hurt them. And
so that's a non-lethal trap.
That's a non-lethal trap. It is a foothold. It's going to cause them some discomfort, but what's great about it is once it's set, the trigger's all the way back here in the back, so someone would have to stick his hand all the way down in here, get a hold to the trigger, and then pull, because it can't just poke at it, so your cats and your foxes and other small things like that aren't going to get in it. This is a very specific for coons. You're not really going to catch anything else. You might catch something with a little grabby hand, but very, very unlikely. They're not that great for a long-term sustainable trapping, but they're really good for catching coons around problem areas that you have things you don't want to catch. Cool. The way it works is you just drive it down the ground, and it stands upright, and you chain this off. You got a little tree, and put a carabiner on there. And
you put some. What do you bait it with? You just put them down inside there?
I like marshmallows. Just throw them down in there. If you're using peanut butter, I'll throw some down in there, and you can take and smear some on the edge of the trap, some up on a tree. That way it gets the scent all over the area. And they're basically like any trapping. You got to get some scent around the area. So if you got like rotten eggs you're using, throw one up in a tree and have it bust. Get the whole area smelling real good.
Well, hopefully what you'll do is get us some animals, trap them for when we come back and do some videos on actually skinning and preparing the skin, not that tan and hide. But if you want to get in contact with Lloyd, I'll put a link on the below here, and you can also check him out on Facebook. Thanks for watching this episode. I hope it was instructional. If you could click on the little red button that says subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it, and you can keep checking back in for weekly updates. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments section with whatever comments or questions you may have and interacting with you, my fans, and get any information to you that I can that's relevant to the question. And if you also want to see something in an episode, I'll be happy to give you credit for it and also get the information together for you. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, the space station, wherever social media is next. Click on more of my videos to expand your knowledge and become more self-reliant as we learn together.